I want to start by talking about Nederland, not your average 4 seed. They have a lot of quality wins on their resume, and you guys handled them pretty well. What kind of confidence does that win give your team?
I hope it gives us a lot of confidence. You come into a game like that. Obviously, there was a lot of communications across the state from the media side of things to just local conversation about this as a possible upset round. To come in and be as dominant as we were really goes back to the level of preparation that we put in and the level of focus the kids came in with from the first play of the game on Friday night to the end result, which is obviously what we wanted. I mean, it gives everybody a little bit lower heart rate in wins like that we tend to like a lot around here. But it's a lot of confidence for kids to say, at least in the first round, this is where we want to be. This is our goals, what we want to accomplish, with the ability to move forward and get ready for the next one.
You mentioned it a little bit, but I was going to say there's a lot of eyes on Texas High, a lot of chatter surrounding Texas High. How are you making sure everyone's staying focused on the goal at hand?
Yeah, I think that's the hard part. You can find what you want to hear anywhere, good or bad. You can find those things. You could find good things and bad things last week going into that game of what people's evaluation or thoughts on us were. And so I think you have to be really level-headed from a kid's standpoint and a coach standpoint of what's the presentation and what the message is week in and week out. And so that message for us is the same as it was in week one. There's a goal at the end, there's a prize at the end, and our eyes need to stay focused on that. And as long as we can keep our eyes on what we're trying to get to and the process that it takes to get there, I think what often happens is you lose sight of what it takes to actually get to where you want to get to. And when you take your eyes off of the amount of work and the scope of work that has to be done, that prize becomes diminishing really, really quick. And so this week's no different. It's the level of work and the process of the work that it takes to win another playoff game. It's not going to be any different than it was last week. And as long as the scope of that work is still the same and the level of intensity and focus is the same, then the outcome and the result can be the same as well.
Last week, you said there's two types of teams in the playoffs. The one that is okay with how far they've come, they're more of like a settler, and the other team that wants to continue to play. How do you make sure that that standard's enforced when it comes to on-field execution?
I think that's the level of leadership within your team. Even in the post-game conversations in the locker room, you could hear the conversation amongst kids of, we're not done yet. And when you've got that type of senior leadership and motivation within the team, and when it's a team that's led by the kids, it's always much more easier on the staff to move forward and for us to do a job to get a game plan in, because we know that the team within itself is going to take care of the level of focus and the level of intensity that we need to go and prepare for another win. And right now we've got that same type of senior leadership of guys who are willing to lead and guys who are willing to follow, and the continuity and chemistry within a team that want to see a job get done each and every Friday night. And so as we start practice today on Monday, that's what we're looking for as a staff, is that same continuity, that same level of focus, is that there? And so that'll come back to our team leadership as well.
This week, big matchup against Crandall. What are you expecting?
They've got some real explosive players. They've kind of been hot and cold on how many points they've scored a game, but the games that they've been on fire, they're scoring a ton of points. Defensively, they've been able to limit people under 21 points a game. And so that's a challenge for us. The second round of the playoffs is kind of a benchmark spot of everybody wants to win the first round, and that's one of our goals, is win district, then win the first round. And the next goal is to be able to practice on Thanksgiving Day. That's just a big thing in Texas high school football, is when you get to walk out there on that Thursday morning of Thanksgiving and practice as a family. That's our next goal. And so to do that, it's going to go through Crandall, and we've got to come out and be able to go down to Longview and play a great game.